All right, so what a Grand Prix, guys. What a Grand Prix. That was one of the best I've ever seen in my life. In terms of the key incidents, I feel like there were sort of, a few things that were obvious. The first one was, right at the start, when Hamilton got edged out by Verstappen, he got pushed out, and Hamilton overtook him. Look, people were saying that sort of cancelled out the later incidents. No, that was 50-50 for me. You know, Hamilton got pushed out by Verstappen, and he took his pace back. And that's it. He took his pace. Verstappen touched him. So I think that's like way more 50-50. And at most, it should have been like, maybe like a 5 second penalty to Hamilton if you are going to penalise him. So I think that's nowhere near as controversial or, like equal in worth to what happened later on. What happened later on was a clear robbery, in my opinion. Um, Before we move on to the negatives, I do want to say it was a good race. It was like what a beautiful race, man. This is what I want to see in F1. This is what it's about. It's gone from a sport where I felt like it was dying a bit to stuff like this, and you love to see it. Except for what happened later on, that triggered me. The second part was Checo Perez, man. That was beautiful. Like people are applauding Checo Perez for his defense and like racing hard, but to be fair, like Hamilton, what you got to realize is that Hamilton like fought like hard. Checo defended hard, right? But if you looked at Hamilton when he was about to overtake Checo, when he did, like Verstappen was on his tail. He was about to come. He was about to join this like sort of sandwich, and like, he was about to cause like a lot of trouble. But Hamilton overtook Checo at the perfect time, and that was just beautiful. Like that was beautiful racing. That's one of the best pieces of racing I've seen in a long time. And in terms of timing from Hamilton, it was excellent. And obviously, you've got to give plaudits to Checo as well. So that was one of the best things I've seen in a long time in F1. Hamilton controlled pretty much the whole race. I think Red Bull did all they could in terms of like strategy, and timing of it. Like it was, it's quite optimal to be fair. And I think even though Hamilton, people say he could have pitted a couple of times, I still think it was the best option to go for because just the timing of doing those things would have been a bit off. So that was calm. So yeah, I think into the strategy, both teams, Red Bull and Mercedes did, they raced quite nicely, and even other teams, did quite good as well. But going on to the controversial, juicy stuff, it's clearly rigged. Okay, it's not rigged, but you can't artificially construct a race ending like that. You cannot do it. There's two things for me that really really irritated me kind of thing. The first thing was, I think everyone's going to point to what happened, all that confusion. You can't. One thing, you can't look past the rules. The rules say that, okay, you know what? I don't actually know this in the book, but this is what all the drivers are saying. This is what everyone's saying. So I trust Nico Rosberg. I trust Jenson Button. That all cars have to overtake. All lap cars, sorry, have to overtake for the safety car, and that didn't happen. As simple as that. Two, I, this is just like, this must be an unwritten rule, or like this has to be something you can't do. But you can't, like 10 seconds before a lap starts, 5 seconds, all of a sudden just make a confusing change like that. That makes no sense. Like you can't just do that 5 seconds, like, or 10 seconds in advance of the final lap. That's just silly. That's really silly. FIA, like, I don't even care what Red Bull did. I don't care what Mercedes did. It's all about what FIA did, man. They messed up, and that's terrible. That's shocking. And second thing, during the safety car. So I'm basing this what I saw of TV. But when it said safety cars ending, key being ending, not ended. That means the safety car was still in fourth. Verstappen overtook Hamilton. You can't overtake during a safety car. That's sending side by side. Are you even allowed to be side by side during a safety car? It was literally side by side. I'm 95% sure he overtook Hamilton as well. So I do think Hamilton was robbed. Not by Red Bull, but by the FIA for sure. But I feel like if they do appeal this, Mercedes will win. Sorry, Hamilton will win. So I'm fairly confident. I'm not a Max fan. I'm not a Lewis fan. I'm a racing fan, and as good as a race this was, and this isn't the way it should have ended. Hamilton should be champion.